Good afternoon. It's coming up to 1 o'clock on Thursday the 20th of February. We're back over in Kamala and we're going to be taking a look at a soi called Soi 11. There is no other name. We're going to make our way round in a big circle because it takes in part of the beach area. We are towards the top end of Kamala, not too far away from the very well known Cafe de Mars. So let's get into the video. I'll be actually quite glad to get away from this area where I'm just standing because there's quite a bad sewage smell. And I'm guessing that's coming from the canal just behind the camera. A little ways back, they are having a problem with that canal at the moment with black water once again. And the officials are looking into the problem at the moment. So just here in front is the Kamala police station. So if you're wondering where it is on Soi 11. Hopefully you will not need that during your stay here in Phuket. But obviously if you're staying in Kamala long term, you may need the services of the police at some time. Hopefully you won't, but you never know. So as I said, we're going to make our way in a big loop because this soi really loops around on itself. Unfortunately this morning I have not been able to buy my drink because unbelievably there is no 7-Eleven in this section of Kamala, which I find quite remarkable because 7-Elevens are everywhere. Very busy here this lunchtime. Quite a lot of people relaxing and enjoying themselves. And as you can see, the weather once again is really nice. There is a bit of cloud in the sky. It's not completely blue, but it is very warm. Trust me, it is very, very warm today. There's a nice breeze. Again, no rain as the apps or the weather apps predict. So we're going to make our way up here and then we're going to come off the beach area and make our way back down the Soi 11. All this area is classed as the same and you're going to find a lot of accommodation around here, restaurants and cafes, etc. Quite a few people commenting and mentioning that again this is another area that is very popular with Russians, and it seems that most areas now in Phuket are a favourite with visitors from that country. It'll be interesting to hear some comments from people as to why they're not particularly keen on the Russian people. As I've mentioned on other videos, I've had nothing but pleasant interactions with Russians. I'll be quite honest with you. As I've mentioned a couple of times, they've actually been better than my fellow countrymen, fellow Brits. So I have to take people on face value, as I say, and but there seems to be a lot of comments that are going towards the negative side of things when they mention the Russians. Is that because of the problems over in their country? Because obviously with governments, they don't always reflect fully the opinions of the people, as we've seen all around the world. You know, just because a government does certain actions, it doesn't necessarily mean that is the majority feeling of the people. Is that the reason why people don't like it? Or is there something more? Is it because of the way that people have been treated by people supposedly from that area? Very popular there. That restaurant's very, very popular. Just have a quick shufti at the menu. Got quite a nice menu here. A lot of people raving about this restaurant, want to visit. I'm not going to spend too much time and give you an idea. Well, there's plenty of restaurants here on this area. Great place to come in the afternoon, watch the sunset, have some food, a few drinks. And going back to the topic, is it because you've had bad experiences with people that you may have thought that was from Russia? Because I have spoke about this. Obviously with the Russian language, it does cover quite a few countries that are actually outside of Russia. So you can't always be sure that the people that you're interacting with are actually from Russia. They could be from one of the bordering countries. There are quite a number of those, as I've mentioned on previous videos. So it can all be a little bit difficult to sort of pinpoint where the people are actually from. But I'll be interested to learn your feelings and comments, you know, read your comments and just get a sort of an opinion on the census of the people. Is it because you've had bad experiences, or is it because of the ongoing troubles with Russia and Ukraine at the moment? A lot of bikes here, wow. Not much room left for parking. Very popular spot here, very popular indeed. As I mentioned, we're at the more northern end of Kamala, not too far away from Café de Mar. Just the end of this road here. Turn left and Café de Mar is just down there on the left hand side. Quite a bit of accommodation to choose from here as well. All types, everything from rooms up to 5-star hotel accommodation. Again, just going down that road a little way. They've got some very nice accommodation, including the Intercontinental Hotel is located just a few minutes away from here. But very surprised to find no 7-Eleven here, no convenience store. So I'm going to have my green drink after I filmed and on my way home. Another restaurant there, right on the corner. Let's just pop over and they got a menu, or I don't know whether they have. It's got a brick in front of it. Yes, there is a menu there. Let me just move the brick. Give you a quick scoot. Oh, no prices, just pictures unfortunately. So that's not going to give you a very good idea, but another restaurant. You're not going to go short here in this part of Kamala for restaurants if you don't want to go into the main section of Kamala. Of course you can go into the main section just by walking along the beach. It's only a few minutes from where I started the video. Now the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is dehydration. Is that something that you suffer with when you come over to Thailand? Personally, I suffer with it quite badly because I'm not a big lover of just water. And obviously the climate out here is warm to say the least, most of the year round. Good afternoon. Somebody looking down there. So I tend to deal with it by drinking the powders, the electrolyte powders. I normally have 1 or 2 a day, but that by itself is not enough. And because I'm not a big fan of just plain old water, never have been, I tend to drink a lot of soda water. I'm getting through, on average, this time of year, I'm getting through 6 a day. I tend to drink a bottle every hour throughout the day, sometimes more, just depending on how hot it is. And as I mentioned on a couple of videos back, the Met Office has predicted a heat wave, and sure enough, every day over the last week has been getting hotter and hotter. More accommodation there leading right, you can see there the sea right onto the beach. Nice little spot there. Room for rent, I have no idea how much those rooms would be, but they're in a nice little spot. I try to drink as much water as I can. Swadikap, good morning, or good afternoon should I say. It's afternoon now, not morning. I've got an habit of saying good morning. Another apartment there, so plenty of accommodation as you can see. Now, the way dehydration manifests itself on me is I get very bad leg cramps, mainly in my calf muscle and my thigh muscle. If I don't drink enough during the evening time when I'm asleep, I will wake up with severe cramps. So I always try to drink electrolyte packets that you can buy from most of the convenience stores. I actually buy the big boxes from Super Cheap because they work out really cheap. They're just a few baht a packet really, and there's all different brands and different flavours. You can get orange and mixed fruits and all that. So I just find them, when you mix it with water, it makes the water a bit more palatable. But sometimes you can have too many of those packets and they can give you the shits, to say the least. Sorry, cab? Okay, and we're nearly back to where we started, so only a short one today. But yeah, they only recommend about 2 or 3 of those electrolyte packets per day. And if you start to drink any more, you can find yourself running backwards and forwards to the toilet. It can upset your stomach. So you do have to be careful with those. Great choice of little small restaurants. As I've mentioned on a couple of videos, I'm going to start covering a lot more of these smaller restaurants in the coming weeks. I'm just sorting out the right setup and trying to find a nice way of filming it. Something a little bit different to the stuff that's currently on my channel and how I've filmed in the past. Because sometimes the restaurants can be a bit of a challenge to film because of obviously background noise and music, etc. But you're going to see some food stuff coming your way very, very soon, in amongst with all the other stuff, the street stuff that I'm doing. Lots of content coming your way. Hope you've enjoyed this look around Soi 11 here in Kamala, and if you have, then please don't forget to give it a like, share it on your social media and consider subscribing to my channel. And that is it for today. I will be back very soon.